$10 per month, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rate guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for a new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 1-866-929-1950. That's 1-866-929-1950. You're probably paying more than you should. Call Term Busters at 1-866-929-1950. That's 1-866-929-1950. Remember, 1-866-929-1950. Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes for preferred non-tobacco underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5 is all sports all the time. Talk football year-round with local sports legend Coach K. From quarterbacking the Pensacola High Tigers to coaching the Buffalo Bills, Coach K's life has been all about the game, the teams, the players, and the coaches. Talk football with Coach K at noon on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
As soon as we're back out in our yard, we get company.
Dandelions, lurking crabgrass, and wheat-thin grass. But Scott's Turf Builder Triple Action takes care of them all. Now, with one bag, you can kill weeds, prevent crabgrass for up to 4 months, and feed for greener grass. Triple Action, so your lawn thrives, guaranteed. Only from Scott's.
Weeds aren't welcome here.
This is a Scott's yard. Pick up a bag of Scott's Triple Action today.
What'd you do this time, Brad?
I'm in the doghouse after my hunting trip last weekend.
Yeah, I was too. I blew off our date for an FSU game.
How'd you get out of the doghouse?
Stillwater's Day in Medical Spa. I got her a gift card. It took 3 minutes at swmedspa.com. She booked it this Saturday.
Saturday? So 9 holes then?
Tea time's at 8.
To enjoy a hassle-free guys' weekend, let her relax at Stillwater's Day in Medical Spa. Visit swmedspa.com. Stillwater's Day in Medical Spa. Voted Best Day Spa 8 years in a row.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
All sports, all the time. ESPN Pensacola 94.5 WYCT Pensacola.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5. I'm Jordan Glass with your Pensacola.
The following has been produced by Talk Football LLC. Former Florida Gators quarterback, NFL quarterback, and NFL head coach. Coach K. Stevenson has a resume second to none, and now he's sharing his insider information with you. Talk Football with Coach K starts right now on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WYCT and streaming on our websites, ESPNpensacola.com. Welcome into Talk Football with Coach K. I'm Jordan Glass, joined alongside me as always, Coach K. If you want to be a part of the show, call into our studio line, 972-1945. Again, that number is 972-1945. Again, welcome into Talk Football. And, Coach, just lots of things to go over on today's show. And, obviously, got to get it started first. And, yesterday, obviously not on the air because of the Blue Wahoos. They were taking on the Mississippi Braves. The game got started at 10:30 yesterday. One of those rare school games that they'll play on the road throughout the year where basically it's kind of a game where the team that they're playing will invite local local elementary kids to the ballpark for that game. So, Coach, again, want to apologize to our listeners. That's why we were not on the air yesterday, but we are back today. And, Coach, jumping right into it with some college football action here. You take a look at what the recruiting ranks are like so far for the 2020 season, and we're still a ways off. But, Coach, it is still very interesting to see the fact that Clemson, starting out after the way they beat Alabama in the national title game, starting to beat them now on the recruiting trail. And it's getting interesting between these two teams, Coach.
Well, it is. And, I'm just concerned for Clemson on the number of people they're losing. They've lost, for all intents and purposes, 95% of their defense. I mean, all those big linemen are gone, and so they've lost a lot of people. But again, they've recruited well, and they'll just replace the parts now, much as Alabama has done in the past. So I think Clemson is. I still think the two teams right now, without question, are Clemson and Alabama. They're the two best.
All right, Coach, let's just keep on moving here throughout the college news. Again, I think the class of that draft class for Clemson is going to be the quarterback that they brought in the other day, and his name is DJ Uiagalelei, and he is one of the top quarterbacks in the country and in all of this recruiting class for the upcoming 2020 class. And Coach said the word on him, he's a very patient guy. He doesn't force the ball. He stands there in the pocket, waits for his guys to come open, and makes smart decisions. And the fact that there's a guy in high school that's already having that said about him, you put him in this offensive system, you put him on Dabo Swinney's team, this kid could be scary, could be even possibly better. You never know. This guy could be a guy that fills in and just picks right up where Trevor Lawrence would leave off.
Well, that would be wonderful for Clemson if that happens. Now, I understand he's a good quarterback, and certainly – the kid they have there now is just beyond comprehension at his age. He's just an outstanding quarterback, and I'm sure this kid coming in is going to be right up there with him. Like you said earlier on when you prefaced the whole conversation, they're recruiting like Alabama now. They're bringing in top recruiting class every year, and that's going to pay off. It's you never have a lull when you do that. You always have enough there to replenish.
All right, Coach, let's move now to the NFL. We've got Sean McVay finally breaking his silence and talking about Super Bowl 53. Coach, he says he prepared too much for it. He was over-prepared for the Super Bowl. Coach, I've got to ask you, as a former head coach yourself with championship experience, Coach, how do you over-prepare for a championship game? Is that even possible to do, or is this maybe just kind of Sean McVay being a little too critical of himself?
Well, I think the latter. It's tough to over-prepare for any ball game, much less the Super Bowl. And with all that they do, it would be, to me, impossible to over-prepare. So I think that's him putting some of the blame on himself and taking the spotlight off, the critical spotlight off other people in the organization. More power to him. It's a good move on his part.
All right, Coach, we're going to take a look now because NFL.com has released an article by Chris Wessling. It is the 10 top offenses inside the NFL. So, Coach, we'll take a look at these. We'll start it off, obviously, the top five. Get started with number one. It's the New Orleans Saints sitting here as according to Chris, it's the top offense in all of the NFL.
That certainly could be the case, but it also could be debated. So, we'll see where that goes from there. That's a good start, but we'll see what else is, because there are a couple of other teams that I think have as good or better offense as the Saints.
All right, Coach, let's move now to the Indianapolis Colts. They're actually sitting here at number 2, and this is a very talented team. Obviously, you've got Andrew Luck at the quarterback position. You look at the receivers they've got guys like T.Y. Hilton, Devin Funchess, Eric Ebron. They're going to be bringing in guys elsewhere as well. And running back position, you've got Marlon Mack, you've got Hines, you've got Wilkins, you've got Spencer Ware as well. So, Coach, the Colts may not be a hot team inside the NFL, although they did play really well down the last part of the season last year. Coach, looks like according to this article, they could have the number 2 offense inside the NFL.
That could be the case. Listen, they're a good football team, and they have an outstanding quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's young. He's still going to get better. He's still got an upside to him. They have helped themselves now with the receiver. I think the receiver that they got out of Ohio State is going to crunch it. I think he's got great speed. I like the way he has body control, eye-hand coordination. There's just a lot of things about him I like, and that's only going to help. And they have Y.A. Hilton, who's still a viable receiver. They've got an offensive line now that can hold him up, keep him upright. They're a good football team. They're certainly in the hunt. I would think right now they might not be the second, but they're getting closer. They're in that top 5.
All right, Coach, moving on to number 3, the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a team that, look, no Nick Foles to back up Carson Wentz if he goes down with an injury, but, Coach, still a very talented team. You look at some of the receivers they're going to have: Alshon Jeffries, Deshaun Jackson, Zach Ertz. They're going to have those guys in the passing game. As far as the rushing game goes, they're going to be having to rely on guys like Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard, Wendell Smallwood, and Corey Clement. But, Coach, this Eagles offense, they still have Carson Wentz at the quarterback position if he can stay healthy. According to this ranking, they're number 3 in the NFL offensively.
Now that could well be, and I like this Sanders, the running back from Penn State. I think he's gonna make an impact in the National Football League. And they're a good football team all the way around. They haven't lost the core of that team that won a Super Bowl a couple of years ago. So I think they're certainly in the hunt there. All that's going to depend on one thing, Jordan, and you know what that is. I mean, Wentz has got to stay healthy.
Right.
They got to keep him upright.
All right, Coach, moving on to number 4, an offense that, look, we expected this offense to be really good last year. Kind of let us down. Couldn't really get anything going productivity-wise. Coach, it's the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, on paper, they have as good an offense as anybody, maybe better. I think they're better loaded at the receiver position than is New Orleans.
Yeah.
The problem is whether they can keep Ryan upright. They've helped themselves now in the draft. They drafted first and second with offensive linemen. That's going to help them. There's no doubt about that. So depending on how that goes, the experiment with that offensive line and those new people coming in, I think that's going to make a big difference. But certainly Atlanta's got to be considered one of the top offensive football teams in the league. They got to be right up near the top.
And, of course, those 2 offensive linemen you mentioned, Caleb McGarry and Chris Lindstrom, both expected to be top starters from day one. As soon as they start camp, those guys are expected to compete and be a part of that starting offensive line right away. Coach, let's move on now to number 5. We've got the L.A. Rams sitting here. And, Coach, this is another team. Look, Jared Goff had a great year last year. The running game got a little questionable with Todd Gurley towards the end of the season, but, Coach, still was an explosive offense up until that Super Bowl. But I think that Super Bowl, their lack of offensive productivity, might have actually been more so on what New England was doing rather than what they were or what they weren't doing.
Yeah, let me tell you, I have said this since day one. The NFL really is made up of a group of followers. They'll copy anything that looks like it's going to be successful, whether it has to do with head coaches, coaching staff, players, systems, offense and defense, you name it. Now, here's what you got to look at with the Rams. They did a heck of a job last year. A lot of their packages and patterns that they ran were 2-man patterns. I said going into the Super Bowl, the Patriots are going to take them out. They're going to make them bleed in those 2-man patterns because they're not going to let them get somebody open. And the people are going to look at what New England did defensively, because New England really shut them down. I mean, look at the scoreboard and how many points they scored. And so people are going to look at that. That's going to be a big help to other defensive coordinators and defensive specialists, as well as an incentive to other defensive players. I'm not sure if their big running back is going to be well enough to really, really help them. Now, they drafted another kid who's going to be a pretty good running back, but Gurley, my gosh, was the difference in the running game for him. And I don't know if he's going to be well enough, to pick it up where he left off when he was in stride. So they could well fall out of the top group offensively.
All right, Coach. We're coming up on a break. We're going to take our first break a little early because we've got a special guest joining us right at 12:15. We want to make sure we get them on in that time. Coach, Jim Haslett's going to be joining us here in just a couple of minutes. A guy we had a little bit before the NFL draft, a few weeks before the NFL draft. He was in studio here with us a couple of times. He's going to be joining us over the phone today.
Yeah, he is, and it'll be good. We got a pre-draft and a post-draft from two of the gurus of NFL draft. It's Gil Brandt and Bill Polian. And now we're going to get one from Jim Haslett. And I've got one other person I want to get a post-draft from. Then we'll have a pretty well wrapped up and have a little historical data to go on. When we get into the year, we can go back and take a look at some of the things that were said right here. So Jim's got an interesting perspective, always has, on personnel and schemes and systems. And he's always done a great job. So anyway, he's going to be on with us when we get back on.
All right, that is coming up next right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
Wings are now on Beef O'Brady's 2 for $20 deal. Wings?
Wings. Bigger bang, same buck. Pick a starter plus 2 entrees. Like 10 of Beef's famous wings, still $20. 2 for $20. Worth every penny.
Tower, this is Alpha Squad. Something smells mighty good up here. Who's hungry? Over.
Beef's 2 for $20. Pick a starter and 2 entrees. Like Beef's new chicken tender Parmesan skillet, still just $20.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Today, business happens here, and virtually anywhere. Because today, innovative companies are reinventing the way business happens, and they need people who can keep up. With the expertise and technology to get packages to over 150 million delivery points. So, who can help you deliver the future of commerce? The United States Postal Service. See why we deliver more e-commerce packages to homes than anyone at USPS.com/future.
Don't drop the ball this football season. Make Tom Thumb your game day destination. We are your first round pick for snacks, chips, dips, and drinks. Are you tailgating before the game? Don't get blindsided. Head to Tom Thumb for all your supplies. Score big savings with our rewards card. You'll earn 4 fuel points for every $1 spent in store. From hot dogs and buns to ice and propane, Tom Thumb has you covered to help you enjoy the game. For the ultimate game day, team up with Tom Thumb, the local store for local champions.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio, HD2 98.7 WICT, and streaming on our website, ESPNpensacola.com. You want to be a part of the show today? Call our studio line 972-1945. Again, it's 972-1945. I'm Jordan Glass. Joined alongside me, as always, Coach K. And, of course, Coach, right now we've got a very special guest. We teased it a little bit before the break, but now we're back. Jim Haslett joins us here on Talk Football.
Right. Well, we're awfully happy to have Jim on. He's been on before. He does an outstanding job with us. And, of course, all you guys out there in radio land know him as the former head coach of the New Orleans Saints. Jim was an outstanding football player himself, pro linebacker at Buffalo, and has had a few stops around. And does an excellent job of evaluating people. That's why I enjoy having him on pre and post on the draft here. I think it'll be interesting information. Jim, thank you for coming on, buddy.
You're welcome, Coach. How we doing?
Doing okay. Listen, I know you don't. You're not shy in too many ways, so let's jump right on top of it. And I know you paid attention to the draft, and you have some thoughts one way or the other. What teams, if somebody put you on the spot right now, like I'm doing, and again, knowing you won't know for sure for 2 or 3 years down the road, but just off the top after the draft, who would you say, what teams had a good draft, and what teams would you say had the best draft after it's all over?
Well, I think there's a few teams that did well. I thought Arizona did a good job. I think Washington did an excellent job to move up and get Martavius Sweat in the first round. That's a great move by them. So probably those two teams I thought did the best overall. But you look at New England, who did a good job, and not having a lot of high picks. There's some other teams too. Cincinnati filled some needs, with their picks. The guy they took a tackle who can play guard. So now they got they really got three tackles on their team, but one of them can play guard. So I thought that was a good move by them. So there's a few good teams out there.
Right. Well, let me ask you about some teams. Let me just ask you about certain teams that certainly I have a feel for as well. But see how you think about them. San Francisco, let's start there. What did you think about their draft?
No, I thought they did a nice job. They took a really good football player with the first pick. They filled a couple needs. I think that's an extra choice now. Now they got 4 first-round picks on the defensive line, so obviously those guys have to play, and they're good football players, all of them. Even I know Solomon didn't produce like everybody thought he would, but I think he's going to be a fine player down the road. I don't think that's an issue. They did a good job.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they did too. And you mentioned New England. I think New England did a great job with what the picks they had in the position they had them, as they usually do. And he didn't trade out as much and trade down and stockpile. He went ahead and took some people because I think they're missing. So they've got some holes that they at least need some depth this year. And I think that's
every year they got some holes, but somehow that quarterback fills those holes up.
Yeah, you're right. Between the head coach and the quarterback, they fill those holes.
Yeah.
But
it's a pretty good group.
I like the receiver they got from Arizona State. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but he's going to catch everything, and he'll make up for a lot of the catches that they're going to lose with Gronkowski. And I just think overall they did a good job. What do you think about Jacksonville? Now, a lot of people have dinged Jacksonville on their draft, and I'm not sure that's quite fair. They jumped up there with the first 2 picks and had 2 fall into their lap, really. Maybe the top draft, rush guy, Josh Allen, fell to him in the first pick. They had to take him.
I saw Josh Allen play live. I was down to Kentucky-Mississippi State game.
Yeah.
And he is really a good pass rusher, and he can drop in coverage. But to me, he's more of a 3-4 outside linebacker. I just don't see him as an every down rush guy because he does get beat up in the run game some. So they run a 4-3, and they had the same issue when they had defensive end they shipped to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Fowler. They had the same issue because not great on the run, better on the pass, and then they use him as a third down rush guy. So I think he's a little bit better than that. But if they think he's going to be like an every down guy versus the run, I don't know. I'm not sure about that because I think he's more of a 3-4 outside linebacker.
I agree with you, but I think they're thinking more rush down player and a specialist there, Jim. And just in talking with a couple of people, and
I know, but to me, when you take a guy that high, with that pick, to me, he should be on the field. That's just my my thought. If you're take someone that high, he's not playing 30% of the time or 25% of the time, or just on the 12 third downs you have a game. Coach, you know what I mean?
Well, I know what you mean. It's a good point. It's a good point. But they have to, and especially in the division they're in, they're going to have to get some heat on the passer, and they're going to have to get it up front. They can't rely on dogs and blitzes all the time to get there. So it may be worth it to them. I don't know, but your point is well taken, and it's true. Now they get the tackle that a lot of people thought was going to be their first pick, a big tackle from Florida, falls to them in the second round, and they get him.
That was your number one guy. You loved him.
I liked him as far as Jacksonville was concerned, and other people with the tackle. Yeah, because I think he's going to be a good pass protector. But
well, I told you I was tainted by him because of Cedric Leahy. Remind me so much of him, and Cedric's a really great athlete, gifted. They couldn't stop a bull rush, couldn't knock anybody off the line of scrimmage in the run game. And, so every time I saw him, that's who I thought of. So maybe somebody else did the same thing.
Yeah.
But most people had him as the first tackle to go off the board.
Yeah.
And he lasted, he was the fifth or sixth tackle to go off?
Well, yeah, he was second round. He went in the second round. I forget which tackle, but something happened, and I had heard some rumors, too, about maybe a little character flaw somewhere, but sometimes those things travel around because other people want you to hear them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
that's true. Some people start and so they don't have to worry about taking them or trying to get somebody else to take somebody. So
yeah.
You know how you've done that for years.
Well, what do you think about the Raiders? My gosh, they could draft a whole team, and I think they did.
Oh, I don't know. The guy from Clemson's a good football player. He had 11 sacks. I was actually a Sweat fan over him. So that one kind of got me. The big running back. Running backs. You can find running backs in the league. I don't know. That one's going to have to, for me to play out. I'm going to have to see them all play before I can say it. I don't know much about the corner from Clemson they took, but they took solid guys. They took big. They wanted to take guys from big schools and like Clemson, Alabama. They think you can't go wrong with those types of guys. So I mean, if that's your philosophy, I think the Redskins kind of have the same philosophy. They're taking guys from Alabama. They drafted a bunch of them.
Well, the Raiders got your safety from Mississippi State.
I do like him. It's kind of an unusual one because they just signed a safety, and they drafted a safety 2 years ago, Joseph from West Virginia, who I know Paul Gunther loved. He's a really good player. So I don't know what they're going to do with three safeties on the team. Maybe one will play nickel because I think Abrams can play a little of everything. I think he could play some corner, play your nickel, play your inside on your slot, and then go back and play safety if needed. So that was one of my favorites in the draft coming out.
Yeah, well, you like Washington, you said. Got to ask you about two more here. What do you think about Miami getting the quarterback?
Well, I don't think you can go wrong, picking up a quarterback. Hopefully they can get him to play like he's supposed to, or he can. And if they can do that, that's a win-win situation. I think that was a smart move by them.
Absolutely was. Yeah.
Yeah. Even if he doesn't start and he's this number two guy, he's still a good football player. But I would think they're going to push him to be the guy.
Yeah, he's going to be the guy. In fact, talking with a number of scouts, even said on TV that if he were in this year's class with these quarterbacks this year, he would have been the top-rated quarterback over any of them. And I would agree with that. I think he's the most pro-ready. I think they got a steal there. Didn't have to give up a number one, and got most of the money. I mean, I think they made out like champs there. They had a pretty good deal. What about the Giants?
Well, I think the big thing is, first of all, the scrutiny you take in New York, no matter who you take. So if they can take Daniel Jones in the first round from Duke, you could take me in the first round, and it doesn't really make a difference. You're going to be scrutinized, by the media and everything. So I think that's a wait and see on the quarterback, whether he works out. And the one that got me more than anything was the second round pick. When you need a pass rusher and you lost yours this year, and then you draft an inside tackle who is a good football player. I mean, he's a great football player, but when you need a pass rusher, those inside guys aren't going to help you as much.
Yeah, well, I agree with that. They did get a good football player, though. You have to look at it from that standpoint. They got a good player. I was mistaken. That was the Giants that got your safety, right? What was that? The Raiders?
No, the Raiders got the Abrams. Yes.
Okay. And
then I think the other one, the Giants took the kid from Washburn who got shot that night. So you're going to, again, you're in New York City, so you're going to be scrutinized for everything you do.
Yeah.
And I didn't see him play. I heard he's a good football player, good athlete, fast. It might take a little time, but everybody tells me he's a good player.
Right. But if you had to pick right now, who do you think's got the best chance to be the defensive rookie of the year off this draft and the offensive rookie of the year?
Ooh, that's a tough one. The offensive rookie will go to the quarterback if he plays like he should. Defensive rookie coach, I'm not sure. Sweat will play immediately. I would think he'd have the best chance.
Yeah, I think so. Anybody that could get to the quarterback, if they can get there any at all, they got a chance to be the defensive rookie of the year. That's going to be the big one. How did you, Jim? How did you rate these quarterbacks this year? If you had to rate them 1 through, let's say, 5 or 6, because I think there were a couple down in the draft, and I think the New England, going back to New England may have their starting quarterback in 4 years from now, 4 or 5 years from now. Right there, they drafted.
Well, you actually looked at those guys more than I did. And you're the one that turned me on to the Auburn guy, because I didn't really know much about him until I looked at him. And, the guy has a lot of good qualities. He's long and he's lengthy. He can make all the throws. And, I don't really bother me after I saw what Mahomes did about the size of quarterbacks now, if they use them that way. So I think Murray will be a good pickup. And then after that, Coach, I'm not really sure. I think you just got to see who gets the opportunity to play right away, too. Sometimes you don't get that as a rookie, as a quarterback.
Yeah, well, if you rated them coming out, that it ended up being the top 4 and those after, except that they reached up there. Carolina reached up there, and I thought got Will Grier, which was a good.
I like Will Grier.
Yeah, I do too.
I watched Will Grier play, and I like him. Now, the only thing I would say, they ran that offense. It's fast paced, and they run 4 or 5 plays. They don't run a lot of plays.
Yeah.
You got about 2 runs and about 6 passes, and they just keep running them over and over and over. But it's fast. They're coming at you 100 miles an hour. So that's something that I think you got to take into account. He's going to have to learn a little bit more than what he did in the last couple of years.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to have to learn a little bit more than that. That's for sure.
Yep.
And to a couple of these quarterbacks down, Finley, the kid at North Carolina State, has got some real qualities about him. So and I like the Jones kid that New York took. I really do. You got to consider that he played at Duke and didn't have much, if any, talent around him or help around him. So, you take all that into consideration and look at the intangibles as well. And I think he's got a chance to be a good one. I really do.
And he got a good endorsement too. When you get, the head coach who coached a bunch of those guys gives you a ringing endorsement. I would say that, coaches don't usually go out in the line unless they really, really like the kid.
Yeah, you're right. And I think Cutcliffe has done an outstanding job with all those kids that he's worked with, and that's evident. But you're right. He really likes this Jones kid. He's as high on him as he was Eli Manning. You still there, Jim?
Oh, yeah. I got the coach.
Okay.
Kind of lost you a little bit.
All right, last question here real quick. I know you keep up with colleges. Your son is coaching in college now. How do you feel about the top 5 colleges going in right now? And I want to get you on record on this because later on during the season we'll be talking about this. But
Top 5 colleges, I would say, because probably the best player in maybe will be pro football in a couple of years. For college right now, there's Clemson number 1, and then my daughter graduated from there, so that's 1. I would say Alabama 2, Oklahoma 3, and after that, that's a good question. After that, I would say, wow, I don't know. SEC's loaded, so they got good teams.
Yeah.
I don't know, Casey.
You got a ton of.
I give you those 3. I'm going to go for 3.
You got to consider. You've also got to consider Notre Dame and Oregon, and then you can't leave
Oregon
out
because they got the quarterback.
Yeah.
Oregon because they got the quarterback who might have been the best player coming out. So.
Yeah.
Oregon would have to be up there, and then I don't know, but it's going to be. College football should be fun to watch next year.
Should be. Well, Jim, listen, I really appreciate it, my friend, and look forward to seeing you back down pretty soon.
All right. You'll have a great show. I appreciate it.
Talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, that is Jim Haslett joining us here on Talk Football with Coach K. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, more right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Wings are now on Beef O'Brady's 2 for $20 deal. Wings?
Bigger bang, same buck. Pick a starter plus 2 entrees. Like 10 of Beef's famous wings, still $20. 2 for $20. Worth every penny.
Tower, this is Alpha Squad. Something smells mighty good up here. Who's hungry? Over.
Beef's 2 for $20. Pick a starter and 2 entrees. Like Beef's new chicken tender Parmesan skillet, still just $20.
Pros know doing it right means buying in bulk to save time and save money too. Lowe's can help by having the right quantities of lumber and masonry supplies you use most in stock and ready to go when you are, and at the right prices. Because you can get 30% off Sakrete or Quikrete 80 or 90-pound bags of concrete when you purchase a pallet or more every day. Plus, get delivery to your job site for just $20 when you use your Lowe's business credit account. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offer valid through 5/12. Subject to credit approval. Can't be combined with other credit offers. Exclusions apply. See store for details. U.S. only.
At Indeed, we understand that when it comes to hiring, it's important to have a large talent pool to choose from. But sometimes too many good options can be overwhelming. That's why Indeed doesn't just give you access to a large pool of job seekers. We also offer screener tools that let you instantly narrow down your search. Hone in on hiring with Indeed. Experience Indeed for yourself today and get a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting at Indeed.com/promo. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WICT, and streaming on our website, ESPNpensacola.com. We'll come back into Talk Football with Coach K. I'm Jordan Glass, joined alongside me as always, Coach K. And Coach, we just had Jim Haslett on the show talking about post-NFL draft, kind of some the things that he saw and noticed during the draft and where the teams picked. And also kind of gave his opinion on who might be possibly even Offensive Rookie of the Year and Defensive Rookie of the Year as well. Coach, before that, we were taking a look at what is perceived to be, by this article on NFL.com, written by Chris Wesseling, the top 10 offenses inside the NFL. Coach, before we went to Jim Haslett, we got through the first 5. Give a recap of that before we move on here on Talk Football. At number 1, you had the New Orleans Saints. Number 2, it's the Indianapolis Colts. Number 3, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. At 4, it's the Atlanta Falcons. 5, it's the LA Rams. And, Coach, moving on now, moving at number 6, we have a team that was in the AFC Championship game last year, a very explosive offense last year, and a big reason why they went as far as they did. Coach, it's the Kansas City Chiefs sitting at 6.
Yeah, and you'd almost have to put them up there. Some people are going to have them much higher than that. They lost a little speed, with the back, the problems they had with the back, and then the receiver. So they lost a little speed off there, which is going to hurt them some. But the other thing that's going to hinder them a little bit is that, keep in mind now, the defenses have had a year to look at them and an entire off season to break them down.
Right.
So they're going to be played a little differently than they were last year. Last year, they kind of surprised some people with all that speed and the way they were getting the ball to these people in the open field. That's not going to be the case from now on. So just got to keep that in mind.
All right, Coach, let's move now to number 7. That's where we find a team that's added some explosive players in the offseason, like Odell Beckham Jr. They've also retained guys like Jarvis Landry, Antonio Callaway. They also have Rashard Higgins at the receiver position, Nick Chubb at the running back position. Coach, you mentioned Kareem Hunt, the running back from Kansas City. They've added him in the offseason as well, although he will have to sit out the first 8 games of the regular season. Coach, Cleveland Browns coming in at number 7 with Baker Mayfield at quarterback.
They're loaded with talent. No question about that. Now, whether they can take that talent and produce results on the field is going to be the real test here. But they do have some talent and some speed. I don't see how they won't be. I mean, it's going to be hard to keep them from being a top 5 offensive football team. Just think about the talent there that you just called off. And you can't put that much talent and speed on the field. With a quarterback who can get in the ball, that's a real key, and they do have that now. So, and schematically, whether they can design, I know the guy did a good job from mid-season on last year when he kind of took over the offense. He did a good job of designing and scheming their offense. So they should be a top 5 offense.
All right, Coach, and moving now to number 8, you've got the L.A. Chargers led by Phillip Rivers there at the quarterback position. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Hunter Henry at the receiving core, and then obviously they've got a guy like Melvin Gordon in the backfield. As long as he can stay healthy, that's going to be a big boost back there for Phillip Rivers. Coach, the L.A. Chargers, a team that right now is sitting at 8, but you got to think moving into the 2019 season, they could possibly be a little higher than that.
Well, they could, and they've got Phillip Rivers. That's their big thing. He just makes things happen. Offensively, I like their football team. I like Rivers. So they could move into the top 5. It's not likely, but they could do that.
All right, Coach, how about the Pittsburgh Steelers? They have lost a lot. They lost Le'Veon Bell at the running back position. They lose Antonio Brown at the receiving position, but they still have James Conner. They still have Juju Smith-Schuster. They've added a couple of other guys during the offseason, and, of course, they have Ben Roethlisberger right there at the quarterback position. So, Coach, they're sitting at number 9 right now. How do you feel about that?
I think that's about right for them. I don't see them moving up into the top 5. I really don't. So they'll be good offense, but not one of the better ones.
All right, Coach. And finally, rounding out the top 10, we've got the Green Bay Packers here. And, Coach, obviously Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback for them. You take a look at the backfield. They've got Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams, Dexter Williams, and Cabry Bibbs. But, Coach, the receiving position is kind of a head-scratcher for them. They need a lot of help, and they had an opportunity to get some help in the draft. They didn't take that with their first couple of picks they had there in the first round. A little bit of a head-scratcher there, Coach, but the Green Bay Packers sitting here ranked 10th best offense inside the NFL.
That's probably about right because they don't have all the tools. But they've got the quarterback to do it. Now, if they get some production out of a couple of receivers that they're hoping they get it out of, nothing promised yet from those people, or no real track record to go on. But if they do get some help, they could move. I don't think they'll be top 5, but they could be one of the top offenses because of their quarterback.
All right, Coach. Now, is there an honorable mention? Maybe there's an offensive team that we didn't talk about inside the top 10 that you feel like could climb up there. You take a look at it. They have a list of some of these teams that are knocking on the door, and on that list they have the New England Patriots, they have the Tennessee Titans, the Buccaneers, the Bengals, the Cowboys, the Seahawks, and the Panthers. Coach, is it one of those teams that maybe you see being that next tier team that could climb into the top 10, or is it a team maybe that's not listed on that list I just read off?
I think it's New England. I think New England can do whatever they want to do. If it's best for them to be number 1 on the list in offense and win the Super Bowl, that's what they'll do. If they can be number 11 or 12 or 15 or 20 and still win the Super Bowl, that's what they'll do. I think they'll do whatever's necessary to be the best team in the National Football League. I mean, I've got that much confidence in what they do, how they do it, and when they do it.
All right, Coach, and speaking of New England, it looks like Jimmy Garoppolo is not done learning from Tom Brady. There's a story on NFL.com that's actually talking about Garoppolo, and he's coming back from his ACL and rehabbing from that, the injury he suffered last year. And, Coach, part of his rehab and part of the things he's done is pick Tom Brady's brain on how to appropriately rehab and come back at an even higher level than what you were before. And, Coach, this is, again, I think if you're going to pick a guy's brain inside the NFL, especially when it comes back to something like an ACL rehab, I think in the past few years when it comes to people suffering ACL injuries inside the NFL, Tom Brady's not only been the better player inside the NFL, but he's also been the better player to come back from an injury like that, because he came back quick and he came back better than ever.
Yeah, and he's done everything his own way, very unusual. I'm sure he would be more than happy to help Garoppolo, and I think Garoppolo's wise to talk with him about how he did it, and it's going to take a lot to get that back to the ideal place that you want it from an injury standpoint, and then to get over the mental. There's a mental part that you have to get over. You have to jump that hurdle and get back. When you plant that leg out there that first time after you come back from a knee injury, and people are falling all around you and rushing you, it's not a pleasant situation. You got to get used to doing that again.
All right, Coach, let's move back now to some college football here. We talked earlier in the week when Oklahoma and Georgia announced they were going to play a home-and-home series. We talked about Scott Strickland that same day that it was announced. I believe it was Monday or Tuesday. They kind of teased that there were going to be a couple of Power 5 conference teams that were scheduled for Florida for home-and-home series. We got one yesterday, Coach. I don't think anybody expected it to be this team, but, Coach, it was announced yesterday that the University of Florida and Colorado will play each other over the next couple of seasons. And obviously this is going to happen a few years into the future, but they're going to split it up. Colorado's going to come to Gainesville. Florida's going to go to Boulder. And, Coach, this is an interesting matchup for the Florida Gators.
Yeah, it is, but they can they can claim top 5 status there, conference. wise, and so not totally unusual. You know, they get that ranking that they want, the influence of playing a larger conference team, and one that they should be able to handle quite easily. Well, not easily, but certainly should have an edge on.
Now, Coach, you take a look at this matchup, and as a former player, as a fan, Coach, do you take a look at this and maybe, even though they're not a Power 5, would you maybe have rather seen them schedule a team like a Central Florida, a team that's on top right now, that's got a good name inside the top 10, top 15 of college football, rather than a team that has made one bowl game since 2008?
No, I think politically they're doing the right thing by scheduling somebody out of that conference. Because if they schedule Central Florida, and Central Florida doesn't, they're not going to be in a major conference by then, I don't think. And if they don't do as well as they have been doing, which is a distinct possibility, people are just going to claim another cupcake. It's that simple. So I think they made the right choice by going with the conference instead of the team. The other thing you got to remember is, if they start a series with Central Florida, they have, for all intents and purposes, granted Central Florida equal status with them from a recruiting standpoint. It's one reason, it took an act of the Florida legislature to get the University of Florida to play Florida State when they wouldn't play them before because they didn't want to give them equal status.
Right.
And the same is true here. I think you want to stay away from playing Central Florida. I do think that they should play. They should reinstitute a series with Miami now, because Miami's in the state, and I think that was a bonehead play on their part to get rid of Miami. But anyway, I think they should get I would like them to stay with Colorado instead of Central Florida.
All right, Coach, and again, those games will be played year 2028 and 2029. In 2028, Colorado will come to Gainesville, and in 2029, Florida will head to Boulder to take on the Buffaloes there in Colorado. So, Coach, it's going to be an interesting matchup when those two teams face off again. Still about 10 years from now, 9-10 years from now is when this is going to happen. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, more Talk Football with Coach K coming up next right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
There's only one place in town for the lowest prices and greatest selection of firearms. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Visit our fully stocked Gun Pro shop for new and used firearms, accessories, and ammunition. Check out the Indoor Shooting Range. We offer rentals on guns, including fully automatic machine guns and silencers. Ladies, this is the safe place to learn how to use a gun. Plus, Tuesday is Ladies' Day. Women shoot for half price all day. The best place to buy firearms in Pensacola. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Highway 29 in Car City.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
Wings are now on Beef O'Brady's 2 for $20 deal. Wings?
Wings. Bigger bang, same buck. Pick a starter plus 2 entrees. Like 10 of Beef's famous wings, still $20. 2 for $20. Worth every penny.
Tower, this is Alpha Squad. Something smells mighty good up here. Who's hungry? Over.
Beef's 2 for $20. Pick a starter and 2 entrees. Like Beef's new chicken tender Parmesan skillet, still just $20.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck, Bentley. That was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Don't drop the ball this football season. Make Tom Thumb your game day destination. We are your first round pick for snacks, chips, dips, and drinks. If you're tailgating before the game, don't get blindsided. Head to Tom Thumb for all your supplies. Score big savings with our rewards card. You'll earn 4 fuel points for every dollar spent in store. From hot dogs and buns to ice and propane, Tom Thumb has you covered to help you enjoy the game. For the ultimate game day, team up with Tom Thumb, the local store for local champions.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5, also on your HD radio at HD2 98.7 WICT, and streaming on our website, ESPNpensacola.com. You can be a part of the show by calling into our studio line, 972-1945. Again, that phone number is 972-1945. You can also follow us on Facebook. It's Talk Football with Coach K. You can follow us on Instagram as well. It's Talk Football with Coach K there as well. And our Twitter page, it's Talk Football WK or WCK. So again, it's Talk Football WCK on Twitter, and then Talk Football with Coach K on both Instagram and Facebook. We've got our podcast Talk Football on Pippa. You can check that out on Spotify. It's on SoundCloud as well, so you can go and give those a listen. As a matter of fact, if you're just now tuning in, you missed the Jim Haslett interview earlier. That will be up later on this afternoon as well, so that will be on there as well, so go check that out on the podcast. And just a lot of different ways that they can be a part of the show here, Coach, and follow along even when we're not on the air here. And once again, I'm Jordan Glass, joined alongside me as always, Coach K. And Coach, talking about a lot of different ways for people to be a part of the show. We got a lot of different sponsors that do a lot for the show, and at this point in the show, like we do every day, we want to say thank you to them. Bob Tyler Toyota, Hill Kelly Dodge, Tom Thumb, Beef O'Brady's, Levin Papantonio Law Firm, Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range, and then, of course, we have our friends over at Damien's Ice Cream as well.
Yeah, we're obviously very, very proud of our sponsors and thankful to them for keeping us on the air. And hope that you'll patronize them out there. They're certainly not only outstanding business people, but also contribute quite a bit to our community and for your quality of life. By the way, if you haven't taken advantage of the special at like Damien'sIceCream.com, you go to the website Damien'sIceCream.com, and any type ice cream that you would like. They're a huge wholesaler of ice cream, all the way from New Orleans to Orlando. But they will sell to the public. And if you'll go pick out what you want and let them know you heard about it here, they'll sell it to you wholesale and also add another 15% off that if you say you heard it here. Huge deal. Take advantage of it. You got anything coming up, you can load down with ice cream. That's always a welcome treat. And also at the shooting range, indoor shooting range out there. It's the only indoor shooting range in this area. It's a great place to be, out just north of Car City. And if you go out there and say that you came because you heard it here, they'll let you shoot out there for 50% for half off. So that's another good deal. As always, all of our sponsors, we're very proud of them, and we will go to bat for them at any time.
Absolutely, Coach. We've got a headline here to get to on the show, though, but a tough headline. You look at Florida, obviously the Jalen Jones situation that happened about a week ago, actually, and now all of a sudden a Florida defensive back in Brian Edwards has been released from Alachua County Jail after being arrested on a misdemeanor battery charge. According to police reports, his girlfriend of 2 years, he grabbed her by the neck as she was attempting to leave their apartment in Gainesville. He pulled her back into the apartment. A witness intervened, called 911. when the police showed up, his girlfriend did have marks on her neck as well as scratches on her back. Edwards refused to speak to police officers. He was read his Miranda rights and taken into custody, and he had his first court appearance on Tuesday where he pled not guilty. Coach, this is a situation that 9 times out of 10, when you look at something like this that happens, when there is physical proof, as in markings on the neck and scratches on the shoulders in a situation like this, Brian Edwards has probably played his last down of football in a Florida Gator uniform.
Or in any uniform.
Yep.
The NFL is now just not taking them. If they've got domestic violence, it's just one of those situations now, both politically and morally, that you just can't get beyond. So, I mean, when are these guys going to learn? It's just beyond me. I can't understand it. But there again, having the ability to prioritize trumps everything else. If he prioritized properly in his life, he wouldn't have done that, so he'd still be playing football. Otherwise, obviously he hasn't, so he's not going to be playing football anymore.
Absolutely, Coach. All right, let's move on now to some NFL news. Pass rusher Ziggy Ansah has been signed by the Seahawks, and Coach, this is a big get for them. They were a team that you take a look at them defensively, Coach. They were a struggling football team. They lost a lot of players, especially on the key defensive side of the ball for them. That Legion of Boom defense that they had, that really was a big reason why they were as good as a team that they were the past few seasons, and led them to 2 Super Bowls, including a win in that one against Denver. But, Coach, you take a look at it, this is a big sign for them, and it's somebody that they need, and it helps fill a need for that team overall, too.
I think you're right. I think you're exactly right. And that's going to help them. If you notice, they've been signing quite a few defensive backs in particular. And they've got to backlog them there, see who does the best job in camp, and then have a little depth, which they don't have right now.
Absolutely, Coach. That's going to do it for today's show. That is all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Jordan Glass for Coach K. Hope you guys have a great Thursday. We'll talk to you tomorrow right here on noon on ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Don't forget the Sports Drive is coming up next. Or not coming up next. We got Stephen A. Smith coming up next. The Sports Drive coming up later on this afternoon at 5 p.m. right here on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.